I never really played Final Fantasy when I was growing up, but this title was actually the main thing that made me realize that this series was probably something I could get into. Despite being a spin-off of the actual game, it was actually the first one I played, so I can almost remember all of the good memories flooding back just from thinking about this. And I look back and I think, where'd my childhood go? Unlike Eggmania, I want to think that my parents got this from me and my brothers, because, to be honest, I have no idea how we got it. It just, like, appeared, and none of my brothers played it, or at least I never saw them play it, because I felt like I was the first one who actually got into it. But I digress. I started playing this game back when I probably couldn't even read, but I could be gamer. I would get on my kitchen table and I'd plug the GameCube into the stupidly small TV on our counter, and I would play it for quite a while. I'd get to the first level, I'd die on the first level. I'd get to the second level, I'd die a lot on the second level. I'd get to the third level, I'd die a whole lot more on the third level. It was a very nice reoccurring thing that I hated. However, my brothers caught wind that this game was actually really fun, and we realized we could all play together. But this process was a little hard due to the fact that you had to have Game Boy Advances and plugins for the GameCube to play. Thanks to our mom getting the required plugs, and us having the Game Boys already, usually SPs and just normal Advances, we were finally able to see what lay before the third level. What we found was something a lot more crazy. The game has almost 23 different places to go to, and 14 of them were giant dungeons to fight bosses and collect myrrh.
They say that wicked creatures prowl the road along this beautiful riverbank, but nobody's ever seen one. I once asked a man why. He simply replied, because anybody who happens upon one is promptly eaten. But it is long since anyone has met such a fate. For nowadays, people take another route, far away from the spooky old road. Only we walk the old way now, travelers in crystal caravans.
Speaking of myrrh, you might want to know what the story is about. The game revolves around you, the player, or players, walking around dungeon to dungeon, collecting up to 3 drops of myrrh from different trees within the game. These drops will be carried within a chalice that keeps the players together, but hurts them if they leave its protection. The players need to get the chalice from point A to point B and defeat a boss in order to complete one dungeon and get 1 drop. After those 3 drops, a year will pass, and it will then take a whole nother year for the dungeons to replenish. You also cannot go back to a dungeon that you previously beat and expect it to be just as easy as the first time you went through, as enemies will now be buffed to make up for your character's constant growing. Therefore, the game is a great reason to make you actually want to explore each place in order to get a sense of where everything is. The reason for the gathering of the myrrh is that there are giant crystals within every village, yours being none the different, and these crystals bring protection from the monsters, just like the chalice does to our player. If a person is unable to get 3 drops, then their city will be ravaged, and the crystal will fade. A literal showing of what happens to a ruined village can be found in Taida, a village that has been overrun by monsters and skeletons. Wonder where those bones came from. The game can be very hard, and this is why 4 players is actually a really fun option. There are 4 races in the game that even complement that, with Clabbits being a group of normal people with balanced attack and defense, Lilties, a group of dwarvish people who boast superior attack and defense, but very little magic power. Selkies, a group of more wild-looking people with a quicker moveset and a good hit-and-run strategy. as their focus is focus attacks. And finally Ukes, a strange humanoid race that exceeds in magic, but is weak in attack. Thankfully, all my brothers and I really like different races, so we had quite a diverse team taking down enemies. And that's what Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles is all about, having fun with friends and taking down monsters. So I'd probably suggest this to a person who probably has either all the chords, but not the game, or maybe all the Game Boy Advances and the chords, but not the game. It's pretty hard to actually get all of the unique items in order to play this game anymore. But it's totally worth it. Or at least it would be, if it wasn't for the fact that it was announced for Nintendo Switch later this year. That's right, no more money spent on the stupid cords that you'll only use once or twice, or the Game Boy Advances that you can clearly just get a better option for. Nope, all you need is a $200 game console and the game in hand, and you can play with your friends to your heart's content. Gee flippin' whiz, did this video take forever to make. Partially due to my laziness, and also a couple of things that have been happening in my life. But thank you so much for your patience, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I feel like I could have done better, but this is all that I'm really motivated to do at the moment. Hopefully I'll make a new video somewhat soon. See ya. I feel like we're forgetting something, actually. Oh, wait. It's Pancho! Pancho!
Yeah, Pancho!
Yeah,
Yeah,
Pancho!
Pancho.
Yeah,
Pancho.
guns, yeah, Pancho!